This is actually a story that I grew up with. Some of you will recognize it, and I'm actually surprised that it's not more well known. I love this story, so I'm going to inflict it upon you. We'll see, maybe you'll love it too. All right, this story is entitled Hope for the Flowers. Once upon a time, a little striped caterpillar burst from the egg which had been home for so long. "Hello, world," he said. "I'm hungry," he thought, and straightway began to eat and eat. And he got bigger and bigger, until one day he stopped and thought, there must be something more to life than this. So Stripe crawled down from the tree which had shaded and fed him. He was seeking more. One day, Stripe saw some caterpillars really crawling along. He looked around for their goal and saw a great column rising high into the air. When he joined them, he discovered the column was a pile of squirming, pushing caterpillars. A caterpillar pillar. The top was so lost in the clouds that Stripe had no idea what was there. He felt a new excitement. Maybe I'll find what I'm looking for. "What's at the top?" Stripe asked a caterpillar nearby. "No one knows, but it must be awfully good because everybody is rushing to get there." Well, there was only one thing to do, and he pushed himself in. The first few moments in the pile were a shock. Stripe was pushed and kicked and stepped on in every direction. It was climb or be climbed. No more fellow caterpillars on Stripe's pile. They became only threats and obstacles, which he turned into steps and opportunities. But some days it seemed that he could manage only to keep his place. It was especially then that an anxious shadow nagged inside. "What's at the top?" it whispered. "Where are we going?" One day, exasperated, Stripe couldn't stand any longer and actually yelled back, "I don't know, but there's no time to think about it." A little yellow caterpillar was crawling over. He was crawling over, gasped, What did you say?" "Well, I was talking to myself," Stripe mumbled. "It really isn't important. I was just wondering, well, where are we going?" Yellow answered, "I was wondering that myself, but since there's no way to find out, I decided it wasn't important." She blushed at how silly this sounded, and quickly adding, "No one else seems particularly worried about where we're going, so it must be good." They both began climbing again, but now Stripe had a new feeling. He felt bad. How can I step on someone I've just talked to? Stripe avoided Yellow as much as possible. But one day, there she was, blocking the only way up. "Well, I guess it's you or me," he said, and he stepped squarely on her head. Something in the way Yellow looked at him made him feel just awful about himself. Stripe crawled off Yellow and whispered, "I'm sorry." And Yellow began to cry. "I could stand this life, hoping in what was ahead until I met you talking to yourself the other day. Since then, my heart just hasn't been in it, but I don't know what to do. I just want to do something like crawl with you and nibble grass." Stripe's heart leapt inside. Everything looked different. The pillar made no sense at all. "I would like that too," he whispered. But this meant giving up the climb. And that was a hard decision.
Sometimes some things are best left alone. Oh, someday someone feel your soul, but today it's too far away to touch the truth. Oh, someday, some say, love will find you. Won't you come around? Won't you come around? I wanna see you smile. Won't you come around? Won't you come around? I wanna meet you there. Wanna meet you there. You. Won't you come around? Won't you come around? I gonna see you smile. Someday, oh, some say, love will find you.
So Stripe and Yellow, they clung together as masses of caterpillars crawled over them. They did nothing at all for what seemed like a really long time. Suddenly, they didn't feel anything crawling over them at all. They unrolled and opened their eyes, and they were at the bottom of the caterpillar pile. "Hi, Stripe," said Yellow. "Hi, Yellow," said Stripe. And they crawled off into the fresh green grass to eat and take a nap. Yellow and Stripe romped in the grass and ate and grew fat and loved each other. It was like heaven for a while. But as time passed, even hugging each other seemed to get a little boring. Stripe couldn't help wondering, there must be something more to life. "We still don't know what's at the top," he said. "Maybe we were wrong to come down. Maybe now that we're rested, the two of us could make it to the top together." Stripe's hankering for climbing life worsened. The pillar haunted him. He crawled there regularly, looking up and wondering, but the top remained clouded. One day at the pillar, 3 thuds startled Stripe. 3 big caterpillars had fallen from someplace and smashed. 2 seemed dead, but 1 still wiggled. Stripe whispered, What happened? Can I help you?" He made out just a few words. The top, they'll see. Butterflies alone." And the caterpillar died. Stripe announced, "I've got to know. I must go and find out the secret of the top." And more gently, will you come and help me?" Yellow struggled inside. She loved Stripe and wanted to be with him. She wanted to help him succeed, but she just couldn't believe that the top was worth all it asks to get there. She wanted to get up, too, but the crawling life wasn't enough for her either. She just knew climbing was the wrong way to get there. "No," she said, heartsick. And Stripe left her for his climb. Yellow was desolate without Stripe. She crawled daily to the pile looking for him and returning home at night, sad, but half relieved that she never saw him. She felt like doing something, anything, rather than this uncertain waiting. What in the world do I really want? She sighed. Seems different every few minutes. But I know there must be something more. Finally, she wandered away alone from everything familiar.
There's a light at the top of the mountain, unseen to the people on the ground. But you can see at the top of the mountain that what goes up comes down. For if trouble find a man in his hometown, or if it find him far away from home, well, he knows it matters not if he's on a mountaintop. There's nowhere that trouble can't follow. And best laid plans of my sandmen sometimes end a mistake. Sometimes your heart is big as a house. It don't mean that it won't ever break. No one said it would always be comfortable. And the truth is the work ain't over yet. But if you're gonna build a bridge, your feet are gonna get wet. So stand up for what you believe in, but every morning check your beliefs. You might decide you want to change them. Maybe the world changed while you were asleep. For if a man wake up to find he's growing moss, well, chances are he ain't a rolling stone. But soon enough when he gets going again, I bet you he can find him a direction home. And best laid plans of my sandmen sometimes end a mistake. Sometimes your heart is big as a house. It don't mean that it won't ever break. And no one said it would always be comfortable. And the truth is the work ain't over yet. Oh, but if you're gonna build a bridge, your feet are gonna get wet. Oh, best laid plans of my sandmen sometimes end up a mistake. Sometimes your heart is big as a house. Don't mean that it won't ever break. No one said this would always be comfortable. And the truth is the work ain't over yet. Oh, but mister, if you're gonna build a bridge, sister, if you're gonna build a bridge, if you're gonna build a bridge, well, I'm afraid your feet are gonna get just a little tiny bit wet.
So one day, a gray-haired caterpillar hanging upside down on a branch surprised her. He seemed caught in some hairy stuff. "You seem in trouble," she said. "Can I help you?" "No, my dear, I have to do this to become a butterfly." Her whole inside leapt. "Tell me, sir, what is a butterfly?" "Well, it's what you are meant to become. It flies with beautiful wings and joins heaven to earth. It drinks only nectar from the flowers and carries the seeds of love from one flower to another. Why, without butterflies, the world would soon have few flowers." It can't be true. How can I believe there's a butterfly inside you or me when all I see is a fuzzy worm? "How does one become a butterfly?" she asked pensively. "Well, you must want to fly so much that you are willing to give up being a butterfly." "You mean to die?" asked Yellow, remembering the 3 who fell out of the sky. "Yes and no," he answered. "It looks like you will die. But really, you will live. And if I decide to become a butterfly, said Yellow hesitantly, what do I do? Watch me. I'm making a cocoon. It's a big step, since you can never return to caterpillar life. Once you are a butterfly, you can really love, the kind of love that makes new life. Oh, let me go and get Stripe, Yellow said. But she sadly knew he was too far into the pile to possibly be reached. Yellow was torn in anguish. How could she risk the only life she knew when it seemed so unlikely she could ever be a glorious winged creature? The gray-haired caterpillar continued to cover himself with silky threads. As he wove the last bit around his head, he called, "You'll be a beautiful butterfly. We're all waiting for you." And Yellow decided to risk for a butterfly. Now Stripe made much faster progress this time. He was bigger and stronger since he had taken his time out. From the beginning, he was determined to get to the top. He disciplined himself neither to feel nor to be distracted. "Don't blame me if you don't succeed. It's a tough life. Just make up your mind," he would have said to any caterpillar had they complained. Then one day he was near his goal. "None of us can get any higher without getting rid of them." Soon after, he felt tremendous pressure and shaking, then awful screams and falling bodies. Stripe felt awful with this new knowledge. The mystery of the pile was clear. He heard a tiny whisper from the top, "There's nothing here at all." It was answered by another, "Quiet, fool. They'll hear you down the pile. We're where they want to get. That's what's here." Stripe felt frozen. To be so high and not high at all, it only looked good from the bottom. The whisper came again, "Look over there, another pile, and there too, everywhere." Yellow. Stripe let her image fill his being. "You knew something, didn't you? Was it courage to wait?" Suddenly there was cries and commotion of another kind. Stripe struggled to the edge to see the cause. A brilliant yellow-winged creature was circling the pillar, moving freely. A wonderful sight. How did it get so high without climbing? Is this a butterfly? And those eyes, with the look of yellow, could it be?
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. Making love with you is all I wanna do. Loving you is more than just a dream come true. And everything that I do is out of loving you. La 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 la, 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 do 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 do. No one else can make me feel the colors that you bring. Stay with me while we grow old, and we will live each day in the springtime. 'Cause loving you is more in my life, so beautiful. Every day of my life is filled with loving you. Loving you, I see your soul come shining through. And every time that we, ooh,
Looking into the creature's eyes, Stripe could hardly bear the love that he saw there. He felt unworthy. He wanted to change, to make up for all the times he had refused to look at the other. And so Stripe stopped struggling. He turned around and he began climbing down that pillar. This time he didn't curl up. He stretched out full length and looked straight into the eyes of every caterpillar. He marveled at the variety and beauty, amazed that he had never noticed it before. He whispered to each, "I've been up. There's nothing there." Most paid no attention. They were too intent on climbing. One said, "Oh, it's sour grapes. He's bitter. I bet he never made it to the top." But some were shocked and even stopped climbing to hear him better. One of these whispered in anguish, "Don't say it even if it's true. What else can we do?" Stripe's answer shocked them all, including himself. "We can fly. We can become butterflies. To get to the top, we must fly, not climb." Stripe looked at each caterpillar, inebriated with joy that there could be a butterfly inside each and every one. The way down was immensely long. The vision of the butterfly almost faded. And in pain, as he struggled down, searching for those eyes which would let him whisper, "I saw a butterfly. There can be more to life." One day, finally, he was down. Tired and sad, Stripe crawled off to the old place where Yellow and he had romped. She was not there, and he was too exhausted to go further. He curled up, and he fell asleep. When Stripe finally awoke, he found the yellow creature fanning him with wings of light. Is this a dream, he wondered? But the dream creature acted awfully real. She stroked him with her feelers and most of all looked at him so lovingly that he began to trust that what he had said about becoming a butterfly might be true. She walked a little distance away and flew back. She repeated it as if he should follow. So he did. They came to a branch from which hung 2 torn sacks. The creature kept inserting her head and then her tail into one of them, and then she would fly to him and touch him. Her feelers quivered, and Stripe knew that she was speaking, but he couldn't quite make out the words. Then slowly, he began to understand. Somehow, he knew what to do. Stripe climbed. Again, it got darker and darker, and he was afraid. He felt he had to let go of everything. And Yellow waited until one day, the end, or maybe it's just the beginning.